It's time to let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser Hard Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka, it's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. With no bubbles to fill you up, it's perfect for tailgating or ski season in Montana. Plus, each Sun Cruiser is only 100 calories and 4.5% alcohol, making it perfect for anywhere your adventures take you. When you need a little sun in your life, nothing hits quite like a Sun Cruiser. Crack one open today and let the good times cruise.
Sun Cruiser Beverage Co., Boston, Massachusetts. All nutritionals based on 12-ounce servings. Please drink responsibly.
We're back for another week, and we're closing in on it. Last week, Jordan closed the pod by saying, well, we should start talking about the rivalry. And now here we are. We're less than 2 weeks away from talking about the rivalry, but still one more obstacle each for Montana and Montana State. First of all, how are you, man? Good to see you.
Good. Doing fantastic. How about you, bro?
Good, man. I'm it's funny. I'm already into the mode because you got to start planning so early, especially from like the print and radio perspective. Because once Monday you remember this because you were a Griz captain, like once Monday rolls around, it's a 15-minute press conference on each side, and that's it. And then nobody's talking to anybody, period, for the whole. You guys will have your TV call, I'm sure, but other than that, there's no quotes to be had. So you got to plan ahead a little bit. You got to get ahead of these things a little bit.
Yeah, that's a fast week, man.
Yeah,
and there's just, I don't know. There's just an extra element of nothingness to that week, so to speak. It's like it's always keep it tight, but keep it really tight that week.
Yeah.
I mean, no external factors letting you like be distracted or whatever, man. It's yeah. And I feel like it's already started, but that's just my opinion. It's
for sure.
Some of the comments from both coaches, it's kind of funny to see it already shaping up.
Well, it's become, here's the thing, football fans in Montana, and the vast majority of people that are watching this and listening to this are smart fans. They have a rationality like every fan base has. Well, people in Montana know football, right? And I think it was pretty clear to both sides of the rivalry midway through the season. Okay, we're the two best teams. Like
yeah,
it's pretty obvious. Like they're good, we're good. Whatever side you're on, you're like, okay, this is pretty good. So I think people have started anticipating this a little bit more, and that's probably disrespectful to UC Davis because I think they actually have at least a fighting shot in Bozeman. Because I think Tim Plow's a really good coach. Mm-hmm. But I think that people just have seen the FCS and they see sort of like when Weber's down and Eastern's down, and all these other perennial powers are not necessarily in the mix. I think people sort of realized in mid-October, all right, we're charging towards another one of these Brawl of the Wilds. It's going to be for the outright championship.
No doubt. And it is. And it's funny because you and I off of here talked about it, but I talked to Gregorak about it and just a few other people that you start seeing how it's shaping up. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, both teams would have to screw it up pretty bad for it to not be for everything on that last game. And that's taking nothing away from Davis because I agree. I think that they have a chance to go in there and cause some problems. I mean, there's some matchup issues that I think Davis poses for Montana State's defense, which I think is, again, potentially the best defense in certain aspects across the FCS. But it'll be interesting to see how Davis does going in there. It's either going to be a close game or it's going to be a complete blowout. It's not like I don't think it's going to be a 2-score game or, a 17-point game. It's going to be 30 points or a very slim margin. That's just my take.
I think that's right. And we'll get to sort of the back and forth. Montana State a little bit more next week. But first of all, I got to start with this in terms of this last week for the Griz. Open-ended. How would you describe Bobby Ball?
Yeah. How much time do we have?
Right.
Yeah. If you find a way to win when the game's on the line, and he programs his guys that way, and that, I mean, I can just start from this aspect. Fans and people, I mean, I'm a fan now. And you sit there and people ask the question like, well, why did we run the ball when it was an 8-man box with Gilman and they're just loading it up and keying on him. Why don't we throw it to the perimeter and so on and so forth. I think Coach Hauck hit it perfectly in his presser. It was complimentary football at the beginning, non-complimentary at the end. And when you have a kid like this Skockle kid from Eastern Washington that comes in as a redshirt freshman, looking to make his mark, him and the team prepared their asses off because they're playing number 2 Montana at home. You're gonna get everybody's best, and Bobby Ball is you find a way to win regardless of the circumstances, and more often than not, I mean, really more often than not, they do. But I mean, Montana's been a perennial for years and years and years, and you are going to get everyone's best. But something that he does well is he coaches situational football exceptionally well. Yes, the onside kick was a disaster, and he was not happy about that. I've been in that meeting and gone over that exact play, and I know who was responsible for it, and he is not going to do that again. I promise you that. But to answer your question, long story short, is winning one of the games on the line. And Bobby, I don't want to use the word flirts, but he, for a large part of that game, and when the game was on the line with 5 to 6 minutes left, there was a lot of guys in there who are not starters, and he wants them to be exposed to those situations. So fans can be upset about it. I can't argue with his success. I mean, clearly, but yeah, there's a long answer.
Why? It's just so funny to me because the Griz Nation has such an unbelievable high standard and high expectations, and that's what makes this all so fun. That's why thousands of people watch this that we're doing every night, and also every other thing that everybody else puts out. It's awesome. Like that's super cool, and I love it. But there is this misremembrance because there was this span when Bobby Hauck was gone that people think back and they think, oh, in the 2000s, all they did was kill people. And it's actually not true. Like sometimes they would, and they certainly had some of the crazy, like just absolute beatdowns in the playoffs, which I think really colors and in the rivalry game. Like those are the ones that people will be like, well, yeah, when they won 35-3 against Montana State, or when they, won whatever 48-10 against whoever else in the playoffs or whatever. But most of the time in conference, it was, well, I shouldn't say most of the time, oftentimes in conference.
Yeah.
It was close games. And I think people just like misremember that. But I think that's the part where, somebody texted into my ESPN show. They said, where's your panic meter at with the Griz? And I said, none. What do you mean? They're 10-0. And like, you got to remember, this is how it goes.
It's college football.
It's called, first of all, it's college football, right? And second of all, like this is commonplace for Coach Hauck's teams.
No doubt.
And it's always the first 10 weeks of the year, because then guess what happens after that?
Yeah,
he takes the gloves off, right? Yeah. We'll get to that. I have a great stat for you for your broadcast, but this isn't uncommon. And that's the other thing. Like you said, he does like to flirt with it sometimes. But guess what? The guy's 110 games over 500 in his Montana career. So almost always they're winning these close games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just go back and think to the last time they were 10-0. I was fortunate to be part of that team.
Right.
Brock and I were true freshmen, and we were both backups and played on special teams. And I say true freshman, he had both of us in games where Northern Arizona, we barely got away with a win. Eastern Washington at home barely got away with a win. Idaho State barely got away with the win. You know what all three of those teams had in common? They were all unranked, and Montana was #1 in the country. So then you fast forward to the playoffs. You obviously fire out of the gate, and you're down 48-14 against South Dakota State, come back and win. And then you beat the brakes off of Stephen F. Austin 51-0 or whatever it was. And then you go to, play Appy State, and everybody remembers that game at night with the snow to go to the national championship. My point is that at Montana, you're going to get everybody's best, but Coach Hauck, he'll never say this, and he'll never even say it to his guys on his team. He's going to put people in situations because he believes that's what develops coaches and players alike the best. You saw it up against Sacred Heart, guys are in. You're up against Weber, guys are in. You're up against Eastern Washington, guys are in. Well, a lot of those teams had scores and guys got burned. It's great lessons. Same thing against Idaho. Anyway, my point is that's how you get guys with reps. If he wanted to leave the starters in and not break that rhythm and break that momentum, he could, and the score would be 40-0, in my opinion. But you got to get guys in there with the starters. That's why you see Kaylee, Yaya, and Eli, and these guys still in there. But you get guys in there with them to play with them, so they're developed. It's part of it.
It's
So,
definitely part of it. It's not
yeah,
a new thing, right? This has been going on
no,
since 2003, some
yeah,
more
long.
than 2 decades.
Colin Reed did it. Go back to the '90s tape
Right,
and go back and
totally.
look at some of those scores. They number one, number two in the country, and they go in. Go look at some of those scores. These
Yeah,
people, it's so easy to remember the legend grows as time goes on, but it's like there's close games in college football, especially when you're a good team.
totally, man. Well, and also, like you said, it's college football, man. Like, there's people are going to give you your best shot. Here's the other thing is, and I said this last week. I actually give Aaron Best a lot of credit. I know Eastern
Oh,
Washington has struggled the last couple of years, and I think they got a lot of stuff going against them
ton.
that's institutional and funding and just the state of the FCS and some of the advantages they used to have pretty much disappeared. Uh,
Yep.
but
Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller and Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
Hello, my name is Kaylee Yaya, quarterback at the University of Montana. In the off-season, it's important to do everything you can to prepare for the season. In high school, that means funding your program. In my experience, Vertical Raise is the ultimate online fundraiser platform. Now broaden your reach of your fundraiser and bring in more money than other platforms. And there are no sneaky or hidden fees like other companies. If you're trying to raise money for your program, reach out to Vertical Raise today.
but I thought since that 2021 game when Eastern came to Missoula and it was a crazy shootout. It was Eric Berrier's last game as an
Yep.
Eagle. Since then, Eastern hasn't been very good, but also like the last half of the season in November, they've quit. Like they were not intent on playing.
Yep.
This team has not quit. They don't have anything left to play for really, but they
No.
have not quit. And I thought that was very apparent on Saturday. I'm not making excuses for the Griz, but they came in there. First of all, the plan that the Griz didn't expect, a quarterback that the Griz didn't really have a plan for, and they just played their asses off. I thought that defense played good.
The defense played exceptional for 3 quarters for Eastern Washington.
Yep.
I will say two things. One, as a defense, you can prepare only to what you know, and obviously certain rules, but certain schematical things and players. So, like we talked about it last week, the players for Eastern Washington, they're skill players. In my opinion, were good. I think they always have pretty decent skill players.
Yep.
They haven't had anybody that can get them the ball. And Nate Bell was a talented runner, a talented thrower, but he wasn't a guy like a Vernon Adams or a Barrier or some of the Eastern Washington good quarterbacks who are consistent, protect the ball, and can distribute it. Well, this freshman comes in, and all of a sudden he's able to do that. And this kid was, I don't care. I was gushing over him on the broadcast. That was so impressive as a redshirt freshman in your first start. The kid was so calm and so poised. I'll say it, he got the shit knocked out of him.
Dude,
I don't know
kill.
if I have ever seen a quarterback get hit that much in a game, sacked that much in a game, and
Yeah.
continue to get up. I mean, they were getting killed on first and second down. His third and fourth down percentage was out of this world, and that was after he was just taking it on the chin. And I mean, that 4th and 11 to keep him in the game across the middle after he just got drilled twice by Clay Oven. I mean, that kid I mean, he's a stud. And if Eastern does not try to find a way to keep him on their roster, they're nuts because that kid is, no offense to the other guys, it's not even the same discussion what they're able to do. And anyone can have a good game, but if you get hit like you get hit last week, that's going to shake out that good game. That's that kid's DNA, man. That is who he is. The kid is a baller, and Montana ran into a freshman that they didn't know who could ball.
Yeah.
And hey, credit to Montana for getting the win. I mean, that was wild. I'll just say that, man.
Well, and I said this from 2018 through 2022. The formula for beating the Griz defense was simple. It was not easy, but it was simple.
Mhm.
A quarterback can stand in there and get his ass kicked, and he can make the throws up the seam. You can hurt him a little bit. Then in 23, they started changing some coverages, and Ronnie Bradford added his own sort of fold to the defense. And that's when they really started rolling. And they could do that because they had all these guys that had been in the scheme for so long. They were masters of it. So it was a machine. So you could add new folds. It's like the NFL, right? It's like when you get a bunch of guys that have been in there forever, you can add these new folds. Most of the time in college football, you can't add all that because you don't have basic stuff mastered yet, but they could in 23. And then last year they mixed a bunch of coverages too because they kind of had to sort of mitigate the talent deficiencies. But this year it's kind of back to where they were at 2018 and 2022, where you bring the pressure, you bring the heat, and if somebody can stand in there and take it, you sort of just you take it for what it's worth. But I went through the stats. Here's how impressive that quarterback is. Montana had 8 sacks. 5 of those sacks led to them being in yardage situations where they needed more than 13 yards for a first down, and they got it. So that's just like at that point you're just like, tip your hat, man. Like credit where credit's due, man. If you're going to convert a 3rd and 13 or a 4th and 11 after we just sacked you, like, good for you, right? Like that's just a dude making a play, right?
And he was too. I mean, like you said, credit to him and Coach Best, especially when he was down or they were down 22-0, and he decided just to stick with it and made some plays. I mean, it was never Montana. I was talking to somebody about this earlier in the week. Montana never was out of control of the game. It was such a funky matchup to where it took a touchdown and onside kick at the end of the game, and then they had that last drive after the onside kick to where it was just funky. It was just weird, and the kid made it happen. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I mean, Montana was in control the entire game. Yes, they were terrible on 3rd down. I mean, I think it was like 1 of 9 or some damn thing. Hauck completes his first, I think, 15 passes in a row. I mean, you don't get to 3rd down when you're winning 1st and 2nd at the rate that they were. So it was just a weird game. The way that it all
weird, man.
Credit to Coach Best and his guys. Credit to Coach Hauck and his guys for getting the win. I mean,
no, for sure. Well, and then there's all the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, but there's also the way that the ball bounces that's so crazy too, right? Like there was that one play where Shackle got smashed from behind, and the ball comes flying out and it just lands right in the running back's hands, and they get a first down off of that.
You just said the way the ball bounces. So three plays. Kenzel Lawler has a pick six, drops
it.
Peyton Wing has a pick six. I think the play before, the play after, drops it.
He falls on his face and he's pounding the turf because he knows that he just blew it.
That's 2 touchdowns and 2 more picks.
Yep.
And then you got the one that you're talking about where Skako gets hit, ball comes out, and I think it was one of their 2 tailbacks, catches it and runs for like 9 yards. And I'm just sitting there going, in my head, I'm like, okay, if one of those plays, 1 out of the 3 goes the other way, we're not even having this discussion. If 2 or 3 of them go that way, I mean, there's 14 more points on the board minimum. So it's just, I mean, both of those were house calls, and it was just one of those games, man. It was just weird. It was just weird.
It was definitely just weird, but Montana got a win. Okay, so what do you make of just the offensive? Here's my theory. You tell me if I'm crazy.
Okay.
I think that Bobby Hauck is trying his best to navigate this season because of the 12 straight. I think he knows he has a young team. I think he knows they play a physical style. I think he knows he's got to keep guys fresh. And I think he's had a pretty stated understanding, other than Sac State's the outlier game. In Sac State, I think they took the gloves off and they said, here's what we got. We're going to roll. Like, we're going to do everything we got. We're going to play everybody. We're going to play, all of our studs as much as we can. We're going to roll. We're going to score 50. But other than that, I think Sacred Heart, Weber State, Eastern Washington, they said, hey, let's draw it up, let's scheme it up, let's script it up. Let's go up 22-0.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna score that many. And we can just let it cruise after that. And then you get, I mean, Sacred Heart, they went bam, bam, bam to just slit their throats and end that real quick at the end of that game. And Weber, same deal. When Weber got it to 31-17, they get the knockout punch. And just on Saturday, they couldn't quite do it. But I just feel like they've been actually doing that intentionally. Like, I don't think Coach Hauck wants to go 1 of 11 on
He'll
third
never
down.
say that. I'm going to agree with you, though. He will never say it, but you look at it from a schematic standpoint. After the first 25, scripted.
Yep.
It in Weber and also Eastern Washington, it got so ridiculously vanilla.
They ran the same play on first down 9 possessions in a row.
Before they started blitzing a little bit at the end of the game, they were in a 4-man front on defense, which a lot, which they don't do. So they did the same thing at Weber. So my point is, yes, they're going to script it, they're going to run their stuff, and then they're going to get back and just work on fundamental straight base calls, base coverages. Well, we needed to get a first down. We were packing the box with Eli. It's like, okay, they were up 17 and they were up, or I'm sorry, was it 12? It was 29-17. So 12. And it's a 2-score game, barring what happened, with the recovered onside kick. Your second and third group is with a few of your starters in there is going in, and you're not risking Eli on screen plays. You're just gonna show vanilla stuff, and that's it. That's fine. It's like, did they think that they could probably get a first down with some of the calls that they were running? Yeah. Did it work out that way? No. Credit to Eastern Washington, but they're not sitting there going, all right, let's drop it, a deep scissors concept or something with Michael Wortham or whatever and try to take the top off of this thing, because they could have. But why would you risk it? Just run Eli. And it didn't work out that way, but it was vanilla. It was so vanilla.
In 1959, at Street's Grocery in Whitefish, Montana's special spice was born. Alpine Touch. It's the taste you grew up with, well seasoned through the test of time, as the tradition carries from one Montana generation to the next. From its humble beginnings to a trusted brand, here's to the next 60 years. Alpine Touch. Montana's special spice since 1959.
Yo, Tara, what up, E?
What's going on? Man, those are some nice medals.
Yeah, man, these are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 of them.
Well, that's nothing like going to March Madness, though.
We did go to a national championship.
Okay, guys, whatever. Let's just get on the Montana party bus and head over to Press Box for lunch.
Yeah.
Nuanez now and Skyline Sports, covering Montana athletics and the Big Sky Conference better than anybody. The Montana Party Bus and the Press Box are also proud supporters of Montana athletes.
Hey, cheers to you guys, man. Cheers to Montana. Cheers to chasing more.
Well, and when people ask why does it get so stuck in the mud, I think my explanation on the credit to the coaches' side is that they don't want to put Wortham or some of the other explosive playmakers in situations where they could get hurt. So I understand that part. On the other side, though, I think the part that really frustrates people is that Montana State can just blow people out, even with running base stuff on their offense. And to me, that comes down to literally one thing, and that is that they can blow people off the ball of their offensive line. And I think that's the one spot that Montana is still struggling with. They got a great running back, and I think they've done a good job scheming some stuff up. I think there's a lot of scheme stuff they can run that they haven't showed at all, except against Sac State. So I think they've got that up their sleeves, certainly. But I think that's the difference. Like, people want to see you continue to just drive the ball and move it and all that.
Right.
And I like Rocker. I think Rocker's a fine player, but if they had a number 2 just bruiser, and I wish Finoti was there yet. He's just not there. He's too young.
Yeah.
But if they had like a Nick Ospo, for example,
or
like a Chad Newell, remember him from when you played? Yeah, like if they had a guy like that where you could just run inside zone and blow people off the ball, it would just make the whole thing look different. But right now they're at this place where they have to sort of scheme it up to be able to be explosive on offense. And credit to them, they've done that all year. But it is interesting because they can't just drive the ball up and down the field when they just go into just their base stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they're not built to So, and I want to say that and this is no excuses, but Montana, the way that Montana recruits, and I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, this is for people listening. The way that Montana recruits and the viewers, you have big, tall, long offensive linemen. You don't have guys who are going to be built to run inside zone and gap scheme over and over and over. You have guys that are good in moving in zone, but also are exceptional in moving in pass protection and protecting the quarterback, getting out on the perimeter in the screen game. So if you look at the athlete profile of Montana State's offensive line versus Montana's offensive line, you couldn't take Montana State's offensive line and have them perform at the same level while asking them to perform the offense under Brent Peace. Their splits are wider. You're in the screen game more. You're dropping back a minimum of 30 times a game, up to 45 times a game. So when you have to pass block, if you have 90 plays or 70 plays, and you're pass blocking for 45 of them, you look at Montana State. The most that they've thrown the ball is probably 30. That's on the lowest end of what Montana.
Yeah, 31 against Oregon was their highest.
Right. And I think Lamson was like 23 or 31 in that game.
That's right.
So that's like, and the one time that they've had to play from behind, you're going to throw it a little bit more because you're going to be putting less third and shorts. But Montana State, they know who they are. They are run first, and they're good at it. They're damn good at it.
Yep.
And they're not going to ask Lamson to drop back. He's a first, second read guy. Every now and then he'll get to his third or fourth progression, and he's accurate. But they're a run first team, and like you said, if you're a run first team and you can't stop a run first team, it's going to be a blowout.
That's right.
100% going to be a blowout, just like we're talking. So anyway, like we're talking from last week, Montana would probably like to finish the game with Gilman and run it out. But
that's the other thing. I always wonder if like Bobby has I know it's his final decision at the end of the day, but I also wonder like if he has a hard time with sort of. I think if it was up to him, he would have Justin Green and Lex Hilliard and Colin Dow and JD Quinn. And of course, I mean, like he would just love to have 245-pound running backs with 330-pound offensive linemen that aren't mobile.
Yeah, from 21, 22 personnel. And
right. Road grade it, put Dan Bowden and Stephen Failer at tight end and just knock people's dicks in the dirt like they used to do. Like if it was up to him. And I think that's the other disconnect that people have with Gilman. Because Gilman he is so physically formidable and he's got such a good lower body and he's so buff and he's got all these things, but he's actually not a power back, man. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying he's finesse, but he's like he's a duck and dive quick hitter, like press the hole, bump it to the outside, get his money. Yeah. And that's what he is, man. And I think that's like the thing when they get it up 22-0. I think Bobby Hauck would love to just be able to say, we're running inside zone 40 times. We're going to rush for 300 yards. We're going to kill you. And because of how they're built, like you're saying, when they're throwing it 35, 40, 45 times a game, it's just not quite that simplistic.
Yeah, it's not. It's funny you say that, though, because Eli is a big back. But explosive, smaller backs at the next level are not 215 pounds. And I think it says Eli's 210. He's probably all of 215.
Yeah. And
he's rocked up. He's solid. That's not a power back.
No, he's a tiny back in the NFL for sure.
Yeah, it's like that's the size of your explosive and fast, elusive, and he's all those things, and he'll run your ass over. I mean, he is very explosive on contact. I mean, he explodes through contact, but he's not a Justin Green. Justin Green was 235 plus, and that was, I mean, he could move, laterally, but that's a power back. Lex, 235 pounds, that's a power back. But yes, those guys can move laterally, but them, like those two and Gilman, are two completely different animals. And yeah, it's not a just run ISO at your ass 35 times a game type deal. Get them on the perimeter, get them involved in the screen game, inside, outside zone. I mean, just let him use his vision, and they're good at it. But Anyway,
Yeah,
beat
it's just hard. It's harder when you have a 3-score lead to simplify it and just grind it out. And some people would say, like, why don't you just run and gun and roll over the place? And I think that's the whole thing, is that they don't, because they will.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay,
we saw how they were going to play when it's a loser out situation is how they played at Sacramento. That's how Bobby Hauck is going to coach. When he's pissed off and he knows that it's a must-win game, that's how he's going to coach. Let it rip. We're going to give the ball to Wortham all the time. We're going to throw it over the back shoulder to Brooks Davis. Like, that's how they're going to play when it's nut cutting time, as the Ranchers.
And I'm not. That's a perfect point. I'm not saying here that they weren't trying to win. They were, in my opinion, it was almost like and I mean this in the most respectful way possible. It was almost like a practice where they're trying to script basic defense and basic offense to win. So we're going to put you in a lesser situation and we're going to see how you perform, not Sac State. So this is my point. If they wanted to throw, and there was plenty of opportunities in that 8-man box, a go ball to Brooks Davis, Michael Wortham, or Corbin Hendricks, they're going to throw a go ball, and I promise you the top's coming off the defense. But that's not having them work on what they want to work on in a scripted practice. That's the point, and that's with the most respect possible, the best way that I can say it.
It's so true, man. And like, Everett Johnson was back, and so they used that as a situation to get him back in there. So him and Amick were rotating, right? Brooks Davis was dinged. It's funny because I think they didn't want to play him, but then Deck had the huge punt return on the very first possession of the game. So then he's gassed. So he's like, Brooks, you got to go in. And because the script was to throw to that position, Davis gets a catch on the very first play, even though we thought maybe he was a little dinged.
Yeah.
But Tolbert's got, something going on. Like Elijah Tolbert, Micah Harper looked like he was, less than full. Diesel Wilkinson, like that, you know what I mean? Like, it's just on down the line. And that's the other part where, like, they were just they've just been trying to navigate this to get through. Cause they here's the thing, man. The fans are always going crazy about everything. And that's what makes the fans so great.
It makes it so special.
But nobody knows better than what's on the line in 2 weekends in Missoula and what's on the line after that than the coaches for the Montana Grizzlies. Nobody knows better than those guys.
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
Thinking about selling your home in Missoula? Here's the truth. Buyers are still out there, but they're being picky. That means how you market your home matters more than ever. I'm Ty Hobbs with Hobbs Homes at Keller Williams, and my job is to make sure your listing stands out. From strategic pricing to professional marketing, stunning photography, and targeted advertising, I'll position your home to attract the right buyers and get you the best price possible. In today's market, it's not just about putting a sign in the yard, it's about telling your home story, creating urgency, and negotiating every dollar in your favor. If you've been on the fence about selling, now's the time to talk strategy. Let's see what your home could sell for and how we can
Griz
make it.
Athlete. DraftWorks is a longtime favorite of beer enthusiasts across the Treasure State, and DraftWorks has created a sessionable, delicious lager that donates part of every sale to the name, image, and likeness efforts at the University of Montana. Up with Montana Lager is a crisp, effervescent beer that pours pale straw in color and greets you with an inviting malty aroma. And it's crafted with Griz athletes in mind. If you're headed to the tailgate or stocking up to watch football, give back to the NIL Collective at the University of Montana by drinking Up With Montana Lager, proudly created by DraftWorks Brewing.
And Coach Hauck will never talk big picture with his team or any of us. But when that door shuts and it's those coaches, him and his coordinators and any other coaches, they're talking. I don't know because I haven't sat there, but I can almost promise you that they're talking about it and they're well aware of it. It's part of planning a season, especially when you don't have a bye week. If your bye week's week, 1, you got to be strategic about it.
Well, last thing for you, John Rainey was texting me about this, and I thought this was a great stat. He said, I got trivia for you. I said, what's up? He said, guess what Bobby Hauck's record is in 13 games, the 13 games before the rivalry game. And I went through it in my head and I was like, well, Coach Hauck's only lost 10 times in November in his career. And, he lost to Montana State, I think, whatever, how many times, I guess 6 of those 10 losses are to the Cats.
Yep.
And 4 of those losses are in the playoffs.
Yep.
Because of the Cal Poly loss in the first round in 05 or the Wofford loss in 07.
Yep.
So I was like, well, he's undefeated then because he doesn't lost in November. Otherwise, like all of his losses in November are either to the Cats or to in the playoffs. So undefeated, final answer. And Sean's like, yep, you got it. Also, though, the margin of victory is almost 4 touchdowns. So here's the thing. This is how it always goes 10 weeks into the year. And then they always run their tune-up and they it's like their dress rehearsal before the Bobcat game. And then boom, you let it all hang out against the Cats and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's an interesting stat, man. I'll definitely put that one in the back pocket because that's pretty dominant if you ask me, but also a good indicator of what is to come preceding that last game.
At 28-17 last year when they played Portland State in Missoula before the brawl. I mean, to me, last year was the biggest anomaly in Bobby Hauck's tenure. So, like, I don't even know how much stock I put in that in terms of like the arc of the whole history of
the program. In my opinion, they did what they could do.
Yeah,
the best that they could do it last year.
Yeah.
That was a non-traditional team in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against those guys, but it was a non-traditional makeup, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, they got eaten up by circumstances because they had a million sixth-year seniors, and then those guys graduated and they had to go to hit the portal, but they only had 5 days to do it. They just whatever. We don't have to rehash that whole thing. That was way too long ago.
Yeah.
In the past. But what do you think about this Portland State game then? Because like on one hand, Portland State just seems dead in the water to me because of just all the things that have gone against them. But on the other hand, like, I don't know, it's going to be their Super Bowl. There's so many factors in this game that
there's so many. And we said it last week. We said Montana should win convincingly, and we don't have to get into everything that we just discussed. Eastern Washington ended up making the game, with an unknown offense because of the freshman quarterback, and they made it interesting. And so there's that aspect. You look at Portland State, they played Cal Poly tough. They actually played Hawaii pretty damn tough. They've played some teams tough at times. They've struggled with consistency, struggled turning the ball over, giving up plays at inopportune times, but they're a Division I program with scholarships and some talented players. Their running back's pretty damn good.
Yep.
You got to go show up and take care of business and make it happen before you can talk about the next one. If you're them, if you're us, we can talk about that together. But
real last thing for you, who does it help or hurt more that the game is downtown in Portland?
All right, that was my
high school thing sucks, man. Like that just sucks. That sucks for everybody, man.
It was so bad. That was my next thing. I think it's an advantage to Portland State because they're going to be excited.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's their coming out party in their new stadium that they are trying to put some money into and get the program built back up and get it going. I know it's not just for them, but I think it's an advantage to them, and it's only a disadvantage to Montana if you let it be. I think that, again, I think these opportunities are great opportunities for a young team to be able to focus on the task at hand and not be influenced by external factors and be distracted by external factors and just take care of business with the room and the team that you have going over there. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of hype going into it. I think the stadium will be full. I mean, I would hope that at least their sake, that it's full. It's their opening of their however many $1 million facility, but I don't know. It's Portland, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting deal. No,
are you going to be over there?
I'm not. I'm going the other way. I'm going to go over to Bozeman and check out the Davis.
Nice. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I know. Hoping to catch that on the flight on the way back or that. So, on a sidebar, are we done with Portland? Or are we?
That's it. That's all I need from you. So
sidebar? What do you think of this Davis Montana State game?
Nation. We're so proud to have played for Montana State.
It wouldn't be where we are today without this program.
Now it's our turn to give back. Bobcat Collective is making a real difference for current and future athletes.
Montana State gave us a foundation to pursue our NFL dreams.
Join us in building something special, because when we invest in our athletes, we invest in the future of Bobcat football. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Join the collective today. Go Cats.
Breakdown, proudly presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student athletes. The collective is partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more.
Shine Beer Sanctuary is leading the charge when it comes to promoting beer culture in Montana. Located at the corner of Church and Main and downtown Bozeman, the locally owned and operated tap house and bottle shop has the best beer selection in the Treasure State. The bar has 32 rotating beers on tap with everything from Duvel to local ciders, gluten-free beers, and non-alcoholic options. The bottle shop has more than 400 beer offerings from all over the world, and Shine offers Cicerone-trained beer guides. Come enjoy beer heaven at Shine Beer Sanctuary in Bozeman.
Davis has had a season filled with all sorts of tumult. I mean, they had I had a little mini party. I like a little mini party at my house because we're like, week 0, football's back, and then we watched Idaho State, UNLV, and then we watched Mercer and UC Davis, and just so bizarre that they didn't finish that game. Like, neither team's on their home field. It's neutral site.
So weird.
Just finish it, man. It's August 23rd. School's not started. Like, I'm not trying to say like you should just wait around forever, but you should just wait around forever. Like, there's only 6 minutes left in the game. You should just wait and just finish.
That was a joke. That was a people wanting to feel important type thing. I mean, it's like, there's this rule in the book, and I remember 10 years ago when we did that, you guys. I mean, come on, like, it was garbage, and it's unfortunate for both of those teams.
Dude, it hurts both of them.
That's an FCS opponent, a ranked FCS opponent at that, and an opportunity for a win against a ranked team. That has huge postseason implications.
No doubt, man. If UC Davis wins that game, then even if they split the next two, they're a seed. And if they sweep the next two, they're a top 4 seed. But just not having that game, now it's like, if you lose in Bozeman, you have to go beat Sac, and you're still going to be on the seed bubble probably, because you're going to be down a game and down a win. It kills Mercer too, though, because Mercer, a win or a loss would have helped them just because of the strength of schedule and all that. And I mean, they're number 11 this week. Like, if they would have rallied and won that game, shoot, they could be a seed again too. So
it could be a seed. It is. I'm glad you brought that up, and I haven't had a chance to listen to yours and Coach Plow's. I just saw it pop up, and I was going to listen to it later. I was interested to see what he had to say. I saw the tidbit where he was talking about that game and how unfortunate it is because, like you said, for both of those teams, if Mercer even loses closely, they're not going to move in the rankings. Davis wins or they win. I mean, it really puts both of them in a position to where they could potentially be a top 4 if they take care of business. But I hope that the committee, regardless of what happens in Bozeman and Sac for Davis's sake, looks at that Mercer game and has a little bit of like some logic and like, yeah, I know we can't count this as a win, but look, man, that's a big deal.
Totally. I mean, that was just the first piece of weird adversity. And then, Davis has lost 15 guys to season-ending injuries, including Rex Connors, who's, in my opinion, the best defensive player in the conference.
Yeah, he's a stud.
I mean, what a freak deal, man. They're whooping up on Weber State, and so they put him in at Wildcat quarterback on a 2-point conversion so they could give him a little love during his senior year. I'm sure he'd been begging Plow for 5 years, like, hey, I was a high school quarterback. Let me run one. And then he gets hurt. He gets his season ended. Like, that's just so brutal, man.
Sad, man. So terrible. He was having a good year too.
Yeah, he's having a good year. And then his brother, who's their best linebacker, he like fractured his foot. And then all of a sudden, you're down your two best defensive guys. I think it's a hell of a coaching job by Plow, man. They're 7-2, and they're in the top 10 in the country without 15 starters. And you also lost a 5-year starter at quarterback, and you replaced him with a freshman, and you're still in the top 10. That's pretty dang good if you're Plow.
I agree. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they are beat up going into Bozeman. I really hope for their sake that they can go into Bozeman, and I'm not going to say win or lose. I just hope they can go in and be competitive. Like, I think that'd be good.
That's right. That's why I agree with you so much.
For the conference.
I think if they have a good plan and they can hang in there and hang tough, because he coaches his guys to fight, and they'll definitely fight it out, and they'll stay in it. But I hope they don't get overwhelmed, because and this is not to say I'm rooting against the Cats. I hope the Cats do everything that they possibly can to win that game, so we can see what we want to happen on November 22nd in Missoula. But there is a chance that it just avalanches UC Davis. I mean, there's a lot of stuff against them. You're down all these guys. You got a freshman quarterback. It's going to be crazy atmosphere. It's on national TV. It's getting colder. All these, and then Montana State that's what they do. They just set the tone physically so much. They never waver on it. So can you match them and hang tough? If you can stay in the game. If you can't, you're going to get dump trucked.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. All right, that's all I got for you. I just wanted to ask.
Of course, man. Well, good to see you. Thanks for being here, and we'll catch up next week. But thanks for doing it, man.
All right, sounds good, brother. Take care.
Enjoy Portland.
Yeah, I will. Later.
Pawn, Missoula's #1 pawn shop.
You want money? We got money. You need money? We got money. We're cash.
Do yourself a favor and make Cash One Pawn part of your online shopping habits. Cash One Pawn has an awesome online inventory, everything from firearms to power tools to speaker equipment to jewelry. Visit Cash One Pawn today.
Cash One Pawn.
8720 Roller Coaster Road, CashOnePawn.com.